And what was this amazing, peaceful, chilled experience for all of us was about to become a nightmare.
I think if you were to think about what could possibly be the worst thing to happen during van life, it would probably be a fire in the van.
We definitely didn't think that we would be having to ever make a video about something like this, ever. I'm Em, he's Stu, and these are our three little wildlings.
If you're new around here, then we are currently on a trip of a lifetime through Morocco to the Sahara Desert to visit Muhammed and Mazouga.
We upped stick from our old lives because we thought that our children were missing out on their education and really not learning enough about this big, beautiful blue planet.
You might have guessed things don't always work out the way we plan them, and more often than not, things keep falling apart in our reliable, steadfast and not at all contrary motorhome, Betty. Such a beautiful girl.
We started off our trip in Morocco in the usual fashion by having an absolute nightmare after discovering our gearbox was completely knackered in France on the way to catch the ferry.
We then proceeded to get trapped in the Tangier Med port before finally being released into this amazing and fascinating country. We are absolutely loving Morocco van life. The food, the people, what a welcoming place.
And we are only just getting started.
In this video, we check out Morocco's largest city, Casablanca, head to a beautiful and tranquil campsite in the countryside near Essaouira for a well-deserved chill out. Oh, and yeah, we nearly burned out Betty.
We're in Casablanca!
So here we are then, in the pouring rain in Morocco. Our plans today is we're going to head into Casablanca and we're going to go check out the city, and hopefully we don't get too wet because it's throwing it down at the minute. What happened to all the sunshine we were promised?
Tomorrow, Sunny.
Okay, tomorrow then. Tomorrow's another day, isn't it? So we're going to have a good wander around Casablanca today. We're going to check out some of the main sites. We've only got a day here, so we're not going to go too mad, and it's also horrendous, the weather, but we're going to check out the Hassan II Mosque, which is a beautiful mosque in the city centre. Obviously we'll have a wander around the old Medina, and hopefully we're going to head towards the dock to go to Rick's Cafe, which, if any of you are familiar with the film Casablanca, will know the cafe from the film, although I believe it is just a replica. The original was filmed in a studio in America, so oh well, we'll still go and have a look anyway. We decided to catch the bus into the city, which was about 40 minutes to the Hassan II Mosque. If you're familiar with our earlier videos, you will know that we don't have much luck in catching buses, especially when it's raining. But luckily this time, we got the timings right, and it was an hour's walk, so we didn't fancy doing that today.
The weather really started to turn a corner as we were travelling along, so it meant we might catch Casablanca in the sunshine.
We seem to do this a lot, don't we? Standing around in the rain waiting for a bus.
Always. Hopefully, bus will come before it rains again.
Getting your morning exercises in, are you kids? Go on, Skye, you can do it. Pull, pull, pull really hard. No, don't put your feet, swing your feet forwards and then pull them up. Pull up.
The mosque was spectacular. What an incredible building and fascinating architecture.
Yeah, it really was. It wasn't too busy either. We did wonder though, as it is Ramadan, whether it would be heaving, but we looked out, I think probably the rain cleared everyone off. Amazing building, isn't it? Absolutely incredible.
Stunning.
Yeah, I mean, the architecture is phenomenal, but obviously we're not allowed in. We did ask, and obviously we don't follow Islam, so especially during Ramadan, it's quite a sacred place, isn't it? So, but we were able to have a look inside and take some photos. It looked amazing inside, so it would have been awesome to go in, but you know, it is what it is. So, but yeah, we can appreciate the building from the outside anyway.
Bit windy, lost my hat, but it's an amazing building, absolutely beautiful.
Surprised Woody's still even got his hat.
We've lost it twice.
Hey? There we go, the sun shines out now. It's warmed up a lot. It was pretty grim. There's a couple of clouds over there that are building, so hopefully we don't get caught again, but all we're thankful is that we're getting some solar on Betty today, and hopefully she'll charge up a bit more, because we've got another day tomorrow where we're not going to be able to get hooked up, and then we're going to be heading off to Essaouira.
Our next destination was a familiar little place down by the docks. Here we are in Casablanca at the famous Rick's Cafe, made famous in the film with the same name. It's not actually based here, they filmed it all in America, but it's erected there as a bar and we built afterwards. Quite expensive to go in at the moment, so we're probably not going in there, but lots of tourists do like to visit. You might remember the famous line, "Play it again, Sam."
It was time to hit up the Medina, and we were excited about checking out Casablanca Souk, as we'd had a fairly muted but enjoyable experience in Rabat, and we were hoping for that famed Moroccan excitement on the stalls. However, our timing was a little off again, wasn't it?
So you mean we timed this visit horribly again?
Yeah, pretty much. Turns out, don't visit a Medina on a Friday, as often a lot of the shops will close during certain times, and this is a holy day in Islam known as the Jumu'ah, and Moroccans will visit mosques for congregational prayers. Oh well, you can't win them all. We still had a good time walking around the Medina. They weren't waiting then?
I saw him and he got to the lights were on, walking back to the spot, and I was like, I'm not going to that point.
Next stop was the square of our man, Muhammad V. Definitely not Muhammad IV. This is also colloquially known as Pigeon Square, and it's easy to see why.
Welcome to Pigeon Square.
The Muhammad V Square was built in 1960 by the French Protectorate and was meant to signify the new city, or the modern part of the city. And there's quite a few sort of European-inspired buildings around the area, and it's located next to the old city, the Medina.
Stopped off in the Arab League Park for a bit of a run around and tried to check out the Sacred Heart Cathedral, but unfortunately this was closed, so we could only admire it from the outside.
I don't think we'll ever truly understand their road system, will we?
No.
Especially the crossings. It's kind of like a free-for-all, isn't it? You just gotta,
Let's risk it.
yeah, cross your fingers and hope for the best. We get some bread then, Skye?
Yeah.
How much was it?
2 dirhams.
So if we had 4, how many was that? Oh yeah, look. So if we had 4, how much was it? If it's 2 dirhams. 4 times 2? 8 dirhams. You got a green man and a red man. What are we meant to do with that? How are we meant to know when we're meant to cross? Even though there's going to be a green man, people are still going to drive over it, like now. There you go. So, even though it's green and there's a red light, that doesn't mean stop. It means do what you like.
Just about headed to the bus, and we're going to do one more stop at the Morocco Mall before we head home.
Now you might be thinking, why are we going to a mall? Well, there's a little special something in this particular mall that the kids were very excited about, as you are about to see. Well, that was a busy bus, wasn't it, Skye?
Yeah, we were squishing like sardines and
Yeah, we were squishing like sardines, but do you know what? We're here now, so we've come to the Morocco Mall, haven't we? Let's go and have a look inside.
Stopped off in Marjane our first time, as we had been told it was a little bit cheaper than the other supermarkets. Time to find out.
Here we go, the next shopping trial.
We'll try a new one, a Marjane.
Yeah, we didn't have much luck in Aslam, so it was pretty expensive. We were paying like €2 for a can of chickpeas, which is, ooh, that's expensive. So we're going to give it a go in Marjane. Okay, the moment of truth, Skye. How much are the chickpeas?
21
21
dirham.
dirham, €2 for a can of chickpeas. It's disgraceful. It's crazy windy now, isn't it, Skye?
Yeah, very big storm.
I know, look, everything's blowing around.
Even the seagulls are having a hard time.
Hopefully we'll be a bit sheltered next to that van.
Yeah.
Wow, you want to see the waves coming in, they're massive. We'll go and have a look later maybe.
Nah, sorry.
Bonjour, bonjour. It's okay. No, it's okay. C'est bonjour. Look at that nice windbreak next to us, Skye. A massive lorry. Oh, it's going to be a pleasant night tonight.
It was time to leave Casablanca. We really enjoyed our visit to the city and loved seeing the amazing Grand Mosque. We even bumped into some fellow YouTubers touring with the kids. Our children love playing with their three, Piper, Jack and Teddy. It's always lovely to see another full-time van life family on our travels, and it was great to get some real travel advice from them, as they were just finishing their Moroccan adventure and had plenty of experiences to share.
The wind was seriously going for it now, and we really didn't fancy staying for another wet and windy day in the park up. So we were going to blast through the 4 hours of driving down to Essaouira, where we were planning on having a bit of a chill out and a break from travelling. We're in a real Moroccan town now. It is bedlam. They've got donkeys on carts coming past. We've got people in the middle of the streets crossing over wherever they want. Trucks, everything. People dangling fish as they walk past. Wow. This is an assault on our senses for sure. Em's on the driving duty at the minute. She's totally into it. Pretty crazy.
We were planning on going to a bit of a special campsite near Essaouira. We had this place in our sights since we got to Morocco. It's meant to be a really amazing site.
We had heard there was a particularly nasty road though on the way in, almost a trial by fire to get into the place, and boy, they weren't kidding about the road.
We're on a bit of road down to the campsite, which is very bumpy, and it's like corrugated cardboard, just up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. We are crawling to try and not cause Betty to shake apart.
so we're going to Espirit Nature campsite, which is kind of really the closest campsite to Essaouira, and kind of the campsite with the most sort of resources for us. So you'll have a good electricity, good water, and it's got a swimming pool, which obviously we and the kids are desperate to get involved in. Yeah, there's lots of talk in the comments on Park for Night about this road that is leading up to Espirit Nature campsite, and lots of people were like, oh yes, an absolutely wonderful campsite, just watch out for the road in. And I tell you what, it does live up to its name, doesn't it? It's like pretty corrugated, crazy. I mean, we're doing about no more than 12 miles an hour on this road. I think any more and the body of Betty would just start to fall off, and we'd be left with just a set of wheels and a steering wheel, a bit like in a Flintstones or something. But yeah, it's pretty bumpy, isn't it?
We absolutely fell in love with this campsite. It was indeed a very special site. Such a well set out place with real consideration and thought about the pictures. You were surrounded by nature. It was so quiet as well. Everyone parked up was really friendly.
Yeah, the facilities were really excellent. They had an immaculately clean toilet and shower block. You could order local bread from the reception as well as tagines each day. The bread costs 3 dirham each. Normally you look to pay about 1 to 2 dirhams for local bread, but these were seriously big breads.
Of course, we can't forget about the kids' favourite bit, the swimming pool. To be fair, in the heat, the swimming pool ended up being a bit of a lifesaver. We managed to squeeze in some swimming lessons, and Woody was getting so much more confident in the water. We were planning on taking a nice week off and having a bit of a holiday here, as it was so amazing.
If you're travelling to Morocco, then this place is a must visit. It wasn't the cheapest site, but everything was really top notch, so you felt like you got your money's worth. It's also incredibly child friendly, as they even have an adventure play area with trampolines. Awesome.
A fantastic break, exactly what we needed to unwind after all the travelling, and also to help us forget about the gearbox dramas with Betty. But things were about to take a real bad turn, and what was this amazing, peaceful, chilled experience for all of us was about to become a nightmare.
I think if you were to think about what could possibly be the worst thing to happen during van life, it would probably be a fire in the van.
We definitely didn't think that we would be having to ever make a video about something like this, ever.
After what we've been through recently with Betty's gearbox, we kind of thought that we would be having a period of calm in our lives, but that wasn't the case at all.
We had just been into Essaouira for some errands and had a pretty good day. We were down at the pool in the campsite having a whale of a time with the kids.
Em had gone back to Betty as she was due to do some online tuition, so we agreed that I would follow her up after when the kids had finished playing at the pool.
I started to walk back to Betty and noticed this loud beeping sound that was somewhere in the distance. But as I got closer to our pitch, I saw our two neighbours were stood outside of Betty, and it dawned on me at that point that the beeping sound was actually coming from our truck. I looked up and I saw the owner of the campsite was just stood on Betty's roof trying to break in through the roof light, but pouring out of there was this thick black smoke. It was just billowing out. I immediately broke into a run and just threw the door open of Betty. When I looked over at the cooker, all I could see through the wall of smoke was flames. The cooker was on fire. I ran over and checked everything was turned off, and I realised the electric hob was still on. Grabbed a towel, covered it in water and just threw it over the cooker to smother the fire. I ran out to turn off the gas. At this point I was just terrified the bottles were going to catch and there was going to be a massive explosion. The campsite owner had already pulled out the electric cable from the hookup, and once the fire was completely out and the gas off, I started chucking everything out, everything that was covered in smoke, just grabbed and threw out the door. Opened all the windows to try and get as much smoke out of Betty as possible. And then I asked the owner, who was still here, to run and grab Stu, who was at the pool.
The kids and I were still at the pool, and out of nowhere, the owner ran up to me and he said, "Have you seen your wife?" And immediately I was on alert, as this is just your worst nightmare when travelling, hearing something like that, and I was worried that something had happened to Em. I said that she'd just gone up to the camper van, and he said that there'd been a fire at your camper van and you need to get up there now. Thankfully, there was this really nice German family and our kids had been playing with their daughter, so I asked if they could watch ours. You know that moment when you know something terrible has happened and you just don't know what exactly has transpired. My mind was racing and I was thinking Em was in the vehicle, or even that there was a vehicle left. So I ran up the track to where the pitches are and arrived at Betty to see her still there, thankfully, and all of our stuff just lying all over the ground. And Em comes bawling out of the door and she's like, "Don't panic, it's fine, I've sorted it, but there has been a fire." Obviously I checked if she was okay, and I braced myself for the worst, you know, for just seeing the extent of the damage.
Fortunately, the damage was very localised, and it was mainly just smoke damage that was the worst thing throughout the camper van. The flames had caught the plastic splashback and completely shattered the glass screen protecting the hob.
Seriously, if it hadn't have been for Em's amazing bravery and clear thinking, I don't think there would have been much of a camper van left. 5 minutes later, and those flames would have got to the wooden cupboards, which are just above, and would have melted the splashback completely, exposing the wall panelling. It really just doesn't bear thinking about, to be honest.
In terms of what had caused the fire, our hob has an electric ring on the back left of it. This must have been accidentally knocked by a bag or something as we'd been heading down to the pool. The actual dial is so easy to move, on or off, so I don't think it would have taken much to knock it.
As the cooker cover was down, the hob had just begun to heat up the glass until eventually it just exploded and shattered everywhere. There was glass all over the place. And we're not sure today what it was, but there was something plastic next to the cooker and it fell onto the hob. And that was it. It went up in flames. And once the plastic had started to melt, it melted onto the hob and it really started to burn, and the fire was well and truly on its way. Unbelievable really, but you know, I'll show you what's happened. So this is where we've had the fire over here. I have cleaned this a little bit, it's not just been done. It's absolutely done a number really. So we've just been up there, like we've got smoke up here. A bit of smoke damage here on this fabric. But mainly it just seems to be plastic smoke, and you know what that's like, it just billows black smoke. You know, we're pretty safe with everything in here. We do turn stuff off and we make sure we don't leave, you know, things running, and you know, we do try and keep on top of it, but that hob dial should not have done that, you know. So it's just one of those things, unfortunately. But you know, I think we're going to take that off, leave that off, because it suddenly then doesn't become an easy trigger point for a fire. So you know, we can just take that off like that and then leave that off. The gas will be fine because it won't get ignited. We've not really had a lot of luck really with the gearbox going, and then obviously this, which, you know, it's just unbelievable really. So I think the plan is to spend the rest of the day cleaning the smoke damage off everything, try and get it sort of habitable again. Fortunately nothing major in terms of, you know, no windows have been damaged or anything like that, but you know, it's just obviously there's a bit of smoke damage which we've got to clear up, try and see what condition the cooker's in at the end of all of this, see if anything can be salvaged. hopefully we've got the cooker. I mean, obviously we're not going to be able to get it dealt with now. It's something we're going to have to deal with when we get back to the UK, probably at the least, unless we can source some parts in Europe. But yeah, just a real shock. And we're just hoping that we can get it sorted and we can carry on, really, because it's you know, it's a lot of damage. And hopefully we can still use the motorhome, and you know, it's still going to be viable for this trip. So yeah, we just got to sort of take stock of everything, really, and kind of sort of get cleaned up and see what's what, see what damage we're dealing with at the end.
It's unbelievable, still thinking about it now, about how unlucky we were, but also how lucky we were to stop the fire in time. And like we said, it's got to be a van lifer's worst nightmare. All of our possessions were in Betty, and if the fire had progressed, we would have lost everything.
Yeah.
Passports, cameras, clothes, bank cards, everything.
We are totally okay, and no one was hurt, which is the absolute most important thing. Well, the only thing that was hurt was Betty, who I will fix up with a brand new splashback when we get back to the UK, maybe even a bright green one or something like that.
Obviously, we were emotional at the time and really in shock, but strangely now we're quite calm about it. I think the ordeal in France with the gearbox just knocked us for six. So there was no room for sorrow left in us anymore.
Not the end to the video we were planning, and definitely not the kind of content that we thought we would be producing, but life's an adventure, right? And you never know what's going to happen next. Not really sure how to end this one, to be honest. I mean, I guess thanks a lot for sticking with us through thick and thin.
It has not dampened our spirits, and we are all falling in love with Morocco. It's such an amazing place with something new always around the corner. The kids are all having the time of their lives and learning so much about the history and the culture.
If you liked our video, then please drop us a like. And also, if you're new to our adventures, then press that subscribe button. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications about when our next video drops. Sort of seems like a bit of an oxymoron with our videos, but see you soon and safe travels.